Hi, I'm Donnie Funk, and I'm running for City Council in District 4. The City of Lee Summit has many critical decisions ahead of it with the undeveloped PRI land coming available to the market. We cannot outgrow our public safety services or our school district. It is imperative we have an open dialogue and collaborate with our citizens, public safety officials, school district, and our community stakeholders regarding the future of our city. I believe I have the experience and leadership skills to help facilitate these conversations so we can grow responsibly. Hope you'll vote for me on April 7th.
Jason, today's episode of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast is brought to the good people by Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
Budget Blinds!
Hey, did you know that Budget Blinds is the home for Signature Series automated shades? They provide a safer environment for children and pets because of that cordless nature.
They are, and you should hail them, for they are our robot shade overlords.
That's right, folks. So if you are ready to make your home a smart home, go see our friends in downtown Lee Summit at Budget Blinds. Tell them Jason Nick sent you. Hello and welcome to this Friday episode of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast. This week we are talking with the candidates for City Council for District 1. Right now we are sitting with Robert Dye. Robert, welcome to the show.
Thanks, I appreciate being here.
All right, well look, I'm gonna start off. I start everybody off with this really tough question, Robert. Why are you running for council?
My main reason for running is I've always been active in civic affairs and charitable organizations as a volunteer. Most of my adult life, I've served in many different ways. I've served in boards of directors for at least 4 different organizations: business, civic, and social groups. I've been in senior executive management for 20 years out of the last 25 that I worked in my career. My career was basically in real estate loan operations and banking. I worked in every position from the very basic ground level, starting out, worked my way up through the ranks, and as I said, the last 25 years I was in management positions. I was involved in real estate lending operations for the banks and the savings loans that I work for, and I have a great background and knowledge about real estate, about finance, about land development, subdivision development, construction loans, and just about everything involving real estate. I've had an active interest in Lee Summit's government operations for the last 15, 20 years. I've been observing what has been going on in the city and what accomplishments have been made, what problems they've had. And I have a definite interest in the city government. I've been through the Lee Summit Citizens Leadership Academy, and also the Police Academy, and there's many groups that I've been associated with: the Lions Club, Sertoma Club, where I was a charter member. And let's see what.
Well, I'm gonna jump in right there. Actually, I want to talk to you a little bit about you mentioned real estate and some of the accomplishments of the city. So let's focus a little bit on development, on economic development, some of the stuff coming in. What do you see as some opportunities that the city has in the coming years? So if you were to be elected to city council and you're on the dais for the next 4 years, what are some of those opportunities that the city's going to see that maybe you feel like you could help?
Well, hopefully a lot of it will be going into the solar energy programs. They should actually go into it in a little different manner than what they are presently. They're the contracting and engagement they're in right now is going to lock them into a state of dependency for the next 20 years with energy companies, when they should be putting in their own operation and getting the free energy from the sun and the wind to their own benefit, not letting the public utility companies take all the advantages, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to set up the infrastructure now to put and contracting to put infrastructure on their public members, the peoples, the citizens. They're trying to put it on their own private properties free of charge, and make contracts that will lock those people into a state of dependency, and that's what's happening to Lee Summit as well. And I hate to see that, because the energy of the sun is free to everybody if they have the facilities to use it, and that's what the utility companies are doing. They're putting that infrastructure in there, and they're giving the people an opportunity to purchase those systems over the years, but what they're doing is setting up a situation. They're sending out lead contractors to put up those facilities, and setting up contracts that will be sold to investors, and those investors are the ones that are going to be dealing with the city of Lee Summit as far as the purchases. And,
Well, Robert, let me go there. So on this idea, this is something that obviously is of significant importance to you going forward. And if you were elected to the city council, would you be in a place to perhaps align the city's incentive policy with this kind of use as part of the development, or where are you on incentives on that front?
Yes, I would like to serve on the Public Works Committee, express my ideas. I already have. I put about a half-a-page article in a recent issue of the Lee Summit Tribune, saying basically what I have said. I talked with Bob McKay about 6 months before the article came out in the paper about the solar programs that they were being involved in, and I put that article in the paper so that they weren't apparently aware of the ramifications that could take place in those contracts. And I was just simply trying to make them aware of what was going on in the industry, because they didn't seem to understand what the setup was with the public utility companies and the contractors that were sending out to deal with their own customers, the major customers particularly.
How would you champion this? I mean, this is obviously a passionate topic for you. So how would you be a champion, and maybe what could you do to change maybe or adapt some of the incentive policies to bring this kind of development in, so that the city could take more advantage of it? What would I guess kind of where do you see your role?
Well, I think most of what happens in Lee Summit is created by the work staff of the city, and I could only, as a committee member, I could suggest maybe and make recommendations that would be fitting to be placed into future operations. I don't want to disturb or destruct anything that they presently are working on. I want them to complete their projects that they have approved, and hopefully they can make modifications in the direction they're headed to better making future investments for the city.
So, Robert, when you're working on those sorts of things, I think there's two pieces to this. It would be a significant shift in direction, I think, from the city's policies as they currently are enacted, and secondly, I think there would be a budgetary impact. So, when you think about the way to deal with that and dealing with those things, where are your priorities on the budget, and what changes would you like to see to allow you to have this change in direction for the city's policies?
Well, there probably would be a bond election necessary to fund it, and it's a fairly costly thing to do right now to put the infrastructure in for a solar farm or something like that. But the cost of doing that has declined by 60% over the last few years, and it's becoming more and more feasible. As soon as strong batteries are put on the marketplace in the general public at a reasonable price, the public utilities company their business will drop dramatically because there will be no use for them except as a backup for emergencies. And that's my goal, is hopefully that the city at some point in time will be able to devise a program that will to get the city away from complete dependency on energy.
This is again. I go back to this. Is obviously a big passion topic for you. It's something that not a lot of people have talked about. And Jason just mentioned that would be a kind of a big shift in an approach for the city and for the other members of the council. I think a big shift for people, for residents. So, as the representative of District 1, how would you communicate with your constituents? I think that's a big role of a council, to be able to communicate back and forth. How would you rally them maybe behind that, and how would you communicate to your constituents the things that you want to do and the things that you're championing if you are elected to the city council?
It's something that's fairly new and not understood by most of the citizens in the community. I have talked with people that have solar installations on their homes, and they are receiving benefits at the present time, about almost no electricity charge for themselves, but the utility companies are getting the benefit over the energy produced by a considerable amount, and they're tapping that energy. And even though they are giving the homeowner a break, it's very, very costly. I've recently gotten an estimate on my own home, and it would cost somewhere in the range of $13,000 just to have the panels put on my roof, and I would definitely get a benefit of somewhat from the source of energy to my own home. But the utility company is getting that excess, and they're probably getting more energy actually out of that installation than I am from my own home, and I see that the way my energy costs each month now are far. It would take me probably, I don't know how many years. Probably take me 20, 30 years to actually recover the cost of me putting up the system.
I could probably talk to you for a long time about sustainable energy stuff. It's a fun topic, but Jason assures me that I have to try to keep everybody's interview around the same time. So we're going to wrap things up. I want you to take about 30 seconds. Why should the voters of District 1? Why should they choose you?
I have a great wide diversified experience in banking, finance, real estate development. I've done everything in real estate that you can imagine. I've built three homes myself. I didn't do all the work. I did quite a bit of the interior work, the final interior decoration and hanging doors, windows, and so forth. But I think that my background, my very intense management experience that I went through for 30 years almost, and so much of a background, civic work, and I've also worked in city government. I've been on a couple of committees, and I'm a member of the Lee Summit Historical Society. I know a lot about the town. I know about the operation. I've been in quite a few city council meetings, and I've spoken before the city council several times about different matters and issues. And in fact, I'm very familiar with the mayor. I didn't understand what the connection was with my family when he ran. I was running for city council at that time. He was running for mayor. I knew I liked him for some reason, but my older brother was his football coach, and Matt Baird, the interim president for the Chamber of Commerce. My sister-in-law was his third grade teacher. If you can believe all that.
Well, that is quite
a small world.
Yeah, that is quite. So we have one more question, and it is the by far the least serious and most ultimate question we have. So if we put in front of you two plates, on one plate was a plate of hamburgers, and on the other plate was a plate of tacos, which would you choose if you had to pick one?
I would go with the tacos because they have such a greater variety of nutritional food in those tacos.
That is the correct.
That is the correct answer. So this is the only one which is an absolute right answer, and you hit it. Robert, thank you for taking time to come out and meet with us and talk to us and the voters of District 1, and good luck in the election.
I'm going to give one more sponsor. Thank you, Jason. A big thank you to Shred KC, who has for many, many months, they have helped bring the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast to the people of Lee Summit.
And I got to say this, they have brought the average fitness level of this podcast up by their mere presence.
That's true. I can live vicariously through those people.
Because I have been dragging it down for many more months than that.
Hey, look, if you are ready to make a change, live your life a little more healthy, eat better, get more fit, go see our friends at Shred KC. They are the positive influence and the knowledgeable minds that you need in your life. Tell them Jason Nick sent you. You have been listening to Lee Summit Town Hall, a Link to Lee Summit podcast with hosts Nick Parker and Jason Norberry. A proud member of the Fredcast Network, you can subscribe to this podcast on most of your favorite podcast apps and catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for all the news, analysis, and conversations on the Lee Summit community. Connect with us on Facebook at Link to Lee Summit or on Twitter at LS Town Hall.